What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you know the drill. It does not matter what you drive. This is your all-terrain nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. And tonight we got a good show. We got a really good show. But first off, I want to make sure, guys, let me know if you can hear me. Everything's going smooth because we are using new software. I promised you last live stream we were going to do something different. I'm trying to step up the live streams to be a little more professional. Not that, you know, I'm a Bengals fan. You don't expect too much professionality out of me, but I'm trying to step it up a little bit for you guys. And so let me know in the chats. It looks like everybody can hear me all right. And look at all the members in the group, man. Thank you guys so much for being members. I greatly appreciate that. But you're not here to hear. You don't want to hear me ramble tonight. You guys are here to see a crazy looking Bronco, and I mean crazy looking. This family is like, they have a household. All their cars are crazy, and I've been following ShockerRacing for quite a while. And I was like, I kept bugging them. I was like, hey, you guys got to come on the show. And James over there is like, well, we've never done anything like this. And I was like, well, come on, man, my audience, you guys are gonna love these guys. So let's unmute them and let's bring in. There they are, Kim and James with ShockerRacing. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Of course, man. I feel like I'm at an 80s skating rink right now.
Yeah, right.
Rave, right?
Right, because I mean, suddenly there's going to be body painting going on. I don't know what's going on back there. Man.
Every time I walk into the garage, I'm thinking, what's going to happen next? I don't know. Like, I'm glad there's no drugs, but what's going on?
If y'all play some good hip hop, man, your neighbors are like, what? They got a club going on in there all of a sudden. What's going on?
I think they're kind of getting used to it all.
Club Shocker over here.
Yeah.
Whoa, that might be bad.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, but guys, welcome into the show. And first off, like, once again, I love the background. I told you yesterday, James, when we were talking privately, I was like, I don't know what color your Bronco is now. Like, it started out as black, and then it looks, in some pictures, it looks like somebody just cranked the saturation and just cranked it. And I thought, oh, it's red.
Yeah.
And then last night you're like, no, it's orange. And tonight you can actually see that this thing is orange. And guys, be sure to smash the like button for this, because these guys are crazy. And I hopefully this is a fun time.
We don't like attention at all. Like nothing bright, nothing wild.
Well, it's kind of disappointing too. We were like, okay, with this vehicle, they're not gonna like confuse the color like at all. It's just orange.
Yeah.
With Neo, everyone thinks it's like lime green, but it's not. It's fluorescent yellow. And here we are now with fluorescent orange, and people like you, Dave, are calling it red.
Well, some picture, you know, we were talking last night, me and James were, that sometimes some colors never translate right in photos for whatever reason.
We'll give you that.
Yeah, I think that one is that. But so let's get into y'all's background a little bit. I know there's some car stuff in the deep in the background, but you guys have been kind of primarily Jeep people for a while, right?
Yeah. Well, we were sports car people until 2018,
right?
And then we jumped in. We got the JL. Actually, we saw the Mojito Green JL at the Chicago Auto Show. Well, I did, and fell in love with it. And I came home and started the sales pitch on her, and we ended up ordering one. And then when the Gladiator came out, we're like,
we gotta compare.
Gotta get one of those too.
So before that, though, as far as like you don't have a lot of off-roading experience before that, right? Like, you were new to this.
Yeah, I mean, 4x4 in general.
Wait, I think you do some in your Mustang GT in the parking lot.
I did get my Mustang once or twice,
yes,
but
you're forgetting.
But yeah, we didn't really get into like 4x4 stuff until the JL Wrangler came out, and kind of dipped our toes in. And then before we knew it, we were full blown, learning as much as we could about the suspensions, working on them ourselves, diving, head first into them. And then
and YouTube blew up from it. Yeah. So that was surprising.
Started learning the off-road life, and finding out about more and more trails. And
right.
So,
well, what opened you up to off-roading? I mean, was there a club or something in your area that just kind of, because anybody can buy a Jeep, but you really need to learn how to drive, and generally getting in a good club or something like that can help that a little bit. Did you guys find that? Or
we went to a couple of events with the Chicago Windy City Jeeps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we met our friend Dimitri through them.
Yeah, we met him, and long story short, he was like a founder of it, and ended up kind of like getting ousted from the group.
Oh.
But long story. But anyway, we ended up like, he took us we went to Badlands because that's the closest thing to us here in Chicago. And like baby steps, like he was awesome. He took us like step by step, like taught us like safety first, you know. And,
he's a nurse.
And really like got us comfortable. And then we went with him a handful of times, and now we've like gotten our little crew together now of, you know, 8 to 10 of us that go out and just learn together now, you know. So
but you guys just didn't buy one and get into it and just like deck one out. You guys had to have a couple, right?
Right. Well, we each needed one then, right? We both like, she doesn't like to be just the co-pilot, you know. She likes to drive.
Asleep. It sounds crazy, but I get bored.
Right. No, that's not crazy.
I'm not driving.
That's not crazy at all, because that's how me and Kelly were. Like, I'd been doing this for a while, and she thought I was crazy. Like, the idea, because Kelly's from I wish she was here, she could tell you, but
no, I wish
she is from a GM household. Like, you leased a car. Both parents were retirees from GM, so you leased a car. Okay. You didn't touch the car. You just drove it, turned it back in, and got you another one. So the idea of a guy in Tennessee who she fell in love with to start modifying his trucks is like, what are you doing? Like, why are you taking a Sawzall to a vehicle? And but she went out with me a few times, and man, we about put it on its side. I was in a deep rut laying like this, and she was freaking out because, you know, control issues for one.
Right.
Like, you know, me and her both love to drive, so she was freaking out and wouldn't go with me for about a year. And finally, I put her behind the wheel. We were at Winrock Park in East Tennessee, and I said, "Hey, I acted like I was doing something, and I just get in the driver's seat and move it up with the rest of the group, and I'll catch up." And I purposely kept her in the driver's seat, and she was nervous. And she goes, "Well, what do I do?" I said, "Follow the guy in front of you." I said, "If he goes off a cliff, just don't do that. Other than that, you know, it's just driving." And after that, man, like, I rarely drive anymore. She rarely lets me if we're out drive.
Nice. That's awesome though. You know, it's great that you both do it together, and you know.
Well, you guys have a wide range, so I know of Badlands a little bit. I know the kind of, you know, it's not a big park, but it does give you a little bit of adventure there. But then you guys have dunes. You have dunes and all this stuff that you guys have been around.
Yeah, the sand dunes. Sand dunes were technically our first like off-roading experience,
right?
We went for like a weekend cruise up M22 in Michigan there, and hit the dunes for a day, and it was just the two of us.
It was raining, so the sand was hard, so that was kind of nice for us.
It was the end of the season, so like it was empty, like nobody there, so we just kind of had like the run of the place.
Literally nobody.
And got our feet wet just playing there, and now we're just in love with it. It's like every summer it's like, all right, what weekends are we going up there, you know? So so I've never done sand. So I've seen some of y'all's videos earlier, and there's some things I want to talk about that you guys got to see here in a little bit. But how is sand versus just dirt and everything else? It's fun because it's faster. You know, I mean, you're and it's overall,
you really can cruise.
Yeah, I mean, you can go as fast as you want to be, really. But it's I don't know. You don't have for people that are worried about like trail damage from trees and the pinstriping, and you don't have any of that at the sand dunes. You know, it's
pretty much none. But sometimes there's some areas, but
and then it's just a matter of like airing down your tires and not getting stuck. But getting stuck's kind of half the fun. So
Well, it's sand, so you can sort of dig your way out easier than if it's mud and just nasty.
Or dig yourself in the sand.
She buried the Gladiator to the frame at the top of Test Hill at Silver Lake Sand Dunes. So
it's a fact.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I thought I heard, to stop on the walkies, so I stopped. I hesitated, but I thought, I didn't hesitate a lot, so I'm fine. So I floored, and I felt like I was really moving, like, okay, I'm going to make it up the hill. And no, I was moving down.
Sinking.
Right. And Andy, sorry to interrupt. Andy, thank you so much for that super chat, man. You are always too kind to me, man. And hopefully you guys see some new things in the chat, by the way. So let me know how you guys like this, the way we're streaming now. But so who was
Can I pause? I did see that Jody Nichols watched our rap video, like our video. So thank you. And I also see my dad's on and my parents. So
nice.
Arizona.
They're in Arizona. So
well, we can connect somehow. Like we'll connect from Chicago to Nashville to Arizona.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
And I promise this is just Kool-Aid. I swear. I swear, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, they know better.
But I have to ask this too. First off, cheers. I did do it. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
And what do we have in what is I'm with Buffalo Trace tonight. What are you guys with?
What do you got?
Oh, I just have my standard Crown Royal apple with cranberry.
But that's like a size glass that you would get at a Mexican restaurant, man. I feel like there should be flowers and all kinds of stuff coming out of it.
Margarita.
You know, I drink my milk in here too, not just. Just saying.
And James, what do you got in your cup?
I just went with Captain and Coke. I needed a little caffeine tonight, so.
Well, I'm with you, man, because I'm on the Coke Zero train too.
Yeah.
And guys, if you hear my voice a little bit tonight, I'm dealing with COVID, and that's why Kelly's not on here tonight, is because she's not feeling very well tonight. But everybody's fine in my household, so if you are curious why Kelly's not here, but so. How long did it take before you basically took the driver's position away after y'all? Because you had your first vehicle, so I can't imagine like a week later you went out and bought your own, or how quickly did it happen?
I think it was 2 years, wasn't it, that we bought Neo?
No, but he's saying how long before you jumped in the driver's seat, and I think legit the first time we took the Mojito Jeep to Badlands, I think I did like the one or. I may not have even done the first obstacle. She started off.
Yeah, I think so.
You might have.
We share, yeah. So we're very into sharing, and we're both very motivated to do it. So we have to share.
Everybody asks us like, which is Kim's car, or like which.
Yeah.
All of them.
Like
that's
my response to people is always, she goes to work first in the morning. So when I come out into the garage, I see what's left. I choose one of what's left, and.
Yeah.
So she drives whatever she wants each day. So
Kim, you're a teacher, so that must be fun to take a big lifted Jeep or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
She tries not to drive that one too much because it draws a little too much attention.
Well, and yeah, I think once I get it there, then I'm like, all right, now I'll drive it more because it's kind of the Band-Aid was ripped off.
Yeah.
So everyone's seen the Bronco black, so it should be, I don't know. Many people at work know that if there's a different vehicle that's a different color, it's probably mine. Because they're not all fluorescent orange or yellow.
Wait, you mean all teachers don't do this?
No, I mean, we have a very awesome, my friend Denise has this amazing blue Mustang, and it's a beautiful blue. So she has a nice bright color, but most colors are neutral, as you know. So we kind of are eyesores. We do have a little Cayenne that it's nice because it's kind of like our mom dad car.
Incognito.
Yeah.
When we don't, I don't know, want to be bright.
Is it like neon purple or something?
No.
Or?
Like nasty gray.
We keep it dirty, and it's the only one that has front plates on it, so we can actually go into the city of Chicago. Yeah.
Aw, that's shameful. We should take those plates off.
Yeah. Screw Johnny Law.
Yeah, right.
I'd be scared to take that car into Chicago. No, it'd probably get the shit beat out of it or something.
So it looks like nothing. Nobody knows what it's. So, you know what I mean? It's inconspicuous. Nobody's looking at it. Yeah. It's the commoner car, So like, not this bright orange. Hey, we're here in the city, like car.
Well, I want to get into that thing behind you, but I have to wrap up with some Jeep stuff because you guys are kind of like me and Kelly. You're interesting. You have both. So they're so similar, but yet they're so different. But first off, I want to ask you, because you guys have a kick-ass Gladiator, and it makes mine look tiny. If Ford were to do a version of that, would you guys be in on one?
Like a Bronco pickup?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I think you would.
I think we'd be interested in checking it out.
I think we just like to compare them and use it for YouTube. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we got the Gladiator, like, it was a hard sell on her to convince her to do it, because we traded in a Cayman for it.
Okay.
A beautiful yellow.
And
Taylor Rose, what's her name?
We got it, and we were, like, driving home that night, and we're like, she was like looking at me like, did we just make a mistake? Because it was the same thing as
and it was just
the Wrangler, but with a pickup truck.
I mean, we bought Mo. So Mo is our green, Mojito Jeep. We bought Mo, again with a bed, but it's all black and boring. And we traded in a yellow Cayman, and I was like, wow, this is really stupid. This is just great.
So we're like, well, we'll just play with it for YouTube and whatever for about a year,
and we'll pitch it,
and we'll dump it.
Yeah. Sounds like my story.
Here we are 2.5 years later, and we're like, we love the truck. I absolutely love it. I mean,
well, and we love how it turned out. We like them better when we mod them.
Of course.
And we paint them.
Of course. Any guys in the chat, just hear that. Did you hear what James's wife said? That we like them better when we modify them. So let your wives, significant others, hear that. Because it is true. You get your significant other in the driver's seat, and it opens up the wallet. Like, I know Kelly's watching here. I know she's watching somewhere, and she's going to be like, hey, shut the F up, man. Like,
I know, like, oh, no, I'm in the doghouse, aren't I?
But I have to say, like, the Gladiator is that platform, and if Ford would ever do it, I like the fact that you can just throw something in the bed. It's all nasty, dirty, like, especially out wheeling, your boots are dirty or whatever. And not that the Wranglers or Broncos, like, you can't get them dirty, but it is the idea of just being, just throw this shit in the back and move on.
Yeah.
But so the idea was to a year
mounted in the bed.
Some boots back there.
Right. So a year and done with that vehicle. So when did the Bronco? Did you guys watch that release of Bronco? And
that was a really good release.
That was one of the best releases I've ever seen.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
I was
unlike the rest of the launch.
Yeah,
Ford, but
the 18 months waiting for one, that was awful.
Well, that and the hardtop issues and there's questionable things on actually doing it, but no. So did y'all watch that launch that night when they premiered it?
We watched it that night, and honestly, like, I'm not a big Ford guy. I grew up in a Chevy household as well. Okay. So, although I did have a couple Mustangs back in the day, but I watched it because I was curious to see what they were going to launch to try to compete with the Wrangler, because everybody, I mean, it was obvious that that's what they were going after.
Right.
Wrangler's been around forever.
Right.
So who was intrigued to see another company try to compete with the Wrangler? I mean, that's just, I feel like everyone should be interested in that.
So I mean, we watched that thing, and it sold us both. I mean, we were both sitting there all giddy,
Well, in that orange, we were really loving that cyber orange. So,
which is school bus yellow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as a teacher, you have to like that color, right?
Yeah, I do bus duty too.
It's a little too close to work.
That's why we're in the fluorescent.
So what's the idea? I mean, we knew we would see a 2-door and it was gonna look like the classic Bronco, but the 4-door was like, what's that? What are they gonna do with it? And you guys ended up going with a 4-door. Was 2-door ever on the?
No, I mean, even on the Jeeps, I know there's diehard Jeepers that have been lifelong, and a 2-door is life, right?
Yeah.
Even my 4-door isn't a real Jeep.
Yeah, my mom, when she gets a Jeep, she wants a 2-door. I mean, there's just people like that.
Right. So, but we're not longtime Jeepers, and we fell in love with the 4-door. So, and then when we were ordering it, we've got a Rubicon. Mm-hmm. So we wanted the closest thing to what we had to be able to compare side by side with the Wrangler Rubicon, right? So unlimited. So we had to get the 4-door, and we got the Badlands package. So it wasn't until I test drove when our dealer got their test mule that there was a 2-door Wild Track, and I actually fell in love with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. They look so great.
Had that been available, the blue one. Had I been able to drive one and see one in person before I had actually converted to an order, I probably would have seriously considered the 2-door.
Really? Well, I mean, there are quite versus, especially you get into the old TJs and stuff. There's a lot more room in that 2-door than some of the older Jeeps.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's I want to say it's almost a foot more back cargo area than the current JLs.
Right.
But they do feel longer too. So it's kind of in between the 2-door Jeep and the 4-door Jeep is where the 2-door Bronco lives.
Which I feel is a nice, happy place to be, right?
Oh, of course, man. Of course, and especially if you want to wheel it, and you guys seem to like to wheel it. Have you had the doors off of this thing yet?
Yes.
Well, when we wrapped it.
But riding around. I mean,
no.
Oh no.
We have not. The first time we took everything apart was to wrap it, like completely disassembled it. So
I will say though, can I say this?
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the doors and how they like putting them back on is not as easy as the Jeep at all. And it actually messed up our wrap job.
Trying to get it.
Just to put them on. Yes. Like, yeah. And
it's because it was our first time taking them on and off.
Yeah.
So it's still really tricky. Awkward in comparison to the Jeep. But yeah.
I still feel they're much trickier.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe as we get used to it, like you said.
I mean, I'll be honest, like the Jeep, even because our Snazzleberry, that was nerve wracking trying to taking them off is easy, but trying to put them back on, especially if you have kind of a higher end color. And the door on the Jeep doors are heavy,
right?
And I haven't had the Bronco doors off yet, but but the Jeep you can see where you're trying to put the peg in the hole. You know, like with Bronco, it's kind of like blind, right? It's hard to
very blind.
And then there was like a spot where I thought it was locked in, like I was pulling on it. Something was hooked in there, but it was not in the pin, you know? So I'm like, until I was like keeping a hand on it and making sure until I got the bolts started, but it's definitely awkward. And then the other thing we noticed is between the front and the rear door, when that hinge thing's sticking out, it looks terrible.
I think James said, you said there's something we could get so it'll look better when we're naked.
DZ. I saw
they make a cover,
and that cleans it up a lot.
Yeah.
Not that the Wrangler is perfect looking, but it doesn't look as.
But it wasn't. There's nothing that we were like, ouch, we got to fix that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Ford will. I think over the next couple of years they'll get feedback from people and say, hey, I do wish they would have put the hinges on the outside. I just think it would have been easier. I mean, I get it because I can see behind you. Look how smooth that looks. It looks great. It looks great, but
a lot easier for wrapping it. That's for sure.
It is.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine trying to wrap those Jeep doors.
Yeah,
I like that you said too, like as they, keep producing and getting ideas, because I think sometimes you're totally comparing it to something else that you already have that has been refined, and I have to remember that regardless, it is a really good first attempt, and that it's gonna take time for them to also refine
like you said last night when we were talking, it's the 6th generation, but really it's Gen 1 of this version, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, they've not built. I know classic Bronco guy. They're like, oh, it's 6. No, it's really Gen 1. They haven't built it in 20 years or something. Let's not act like it's just been waiting. So. Do you think the doors are much lighter on this than they are the Jeeps?
I wouldn't say, considering they don't have the frame around them
or the
mirror on them,
which makes them less cumbersome.
I wouldn't say they're a lot lighter, like much lighter as I expected them to be without having all that, but they are definitely lighter. And it's nice that they have like that handle, the lift area underneath.
Yeah.
So it makes it, a little bit of weight helps for sure.
Well, I have to say, doing the Jeep doors, I actually like the frame of it because I'll grab the top of the frame when I'm trying to guide it in, and that is pretty nice. Where this seems a little more cumbersome.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see. I do like the wiring though. The disconnect for the plug.
Oh, Jeep,
that's a lot better than the Jeep.
Why? I don't get the thing on Jeep. Like you got to pull the plastic off and you got to tuck it all back in. You're like, just make it a plug.
How dare them?
Well, how fast do you think Jeeps, with their next generations, are adapting some of these things?
I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to see if they do things like with the mirrors, because that, to me, the mirrors being on the cowl is a huge thing for me with the Jeeps.
I feel like aftermarket companies, though, will be sad about that.
Yeah, for sure. But
Smitty Build they'll never earn another penny.
Not on mirrors.
Poor Rugged Ridge.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, because we noticed just from taking it apart and stuff, a lot of the stuff is just, Ford did such a good job designing stuff to be taken apart. I mean,
and kept in the vehicle.
On the Jeep.
I think it's Ford.
No, Ford with the fender flares, like being the clips and just popping off. Like, to be honest, they come off so nice and easy. I think I'll take them off when I'm going to wash the thing. It's that.
You know what? You should.
Right. It's that easy. Where,
I second that.
Right.
Because I like getting in those crevices. I'm a door jam girl. Like my dad, he that's how I was taught. When you wash your vehicle, you have
wipe it down.
Pry those door jambs and get all in there. And so we should take those off. I like that.
So you guys get it finally. I know James, your dad had gotten one, and you got to do some reviews with it, and he got basically what you bought, right?
He got ours, but he got the Sasquatch. We didn't get Sasquatch,
and he got beautiful red.
He got the Lux package with the Rapid Red, which is what you guys have, right?
Yeah. That car is amazing.
And then I convinced him, because he probably wouldn't get his original order for a couple of years now, because his was originally like, I think he got the body color hard top was ordered. Then he would have lost Rapid Red if he would have waited for that. So I convinced him to switch to the soft top when ours got stuck in what I was calling hard top hell.
Right.
Because we had our VIN and a build date. It was actually supposed to get built like the day they announced the hard top, like hold up or whatever it was. So I convinced him to switch to the soft top so I could get my hands on one a little sooner. And I think I had been talking to you, and you had given me some pointers and stuff, and he switched it over. And I mean, within days he got a build date, and then his came pretty quick. So
so Nurse AJ is in your area. She's where are these kids from? You guys are just outside of Chicago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chicago
about
Birds.
40 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you their address. How about no?
Yeah. By the garage.
We expect you here in a couple hours. Still be home.
But I know there's a cool thing about a lot of these Bronco people some of them are new to this. So, and then they hear like there's excitement. They're like, oh, they're in my area, which I think you're going to see a lot of like good gatherings, and hopefully Jeep people kind of take this a little bit. And I know my local Jeep club are kind of douchebags. They're like, I was going to go to a lunch or something. They were doing this one time, and they were like, nope, you're in a Nissan. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, who cares, man? We off-road.
I don't like when they're like that.
But I'm assuming your local guys accept your Bronco, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess our old school ShockerRacing friends sort of accept the Jeeps and Wrangler. I think they're sad we don't have a sports car currently, but they're not like banning us from life. We still can go to car shows with them and show up in our bright vehicles. And
that's part of what we love is like we go to some of these like local events, like where it's like around here, there's a lot of like high end exotic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We show up with the Gladiator and like parking next to some exotics, and the Gladiator gets more people around it than the exotics sometimes.
But we have to be honest, it's also because it's on 40s, it's fluorescent yellow.
Well, and they're like, you can't see them below the Gladiator. You can see the Gladiator from a mile away.
Yeah,
they're drive-up ramps for you is what they are.
Right?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I imagine your area. I mean, our Cars and Coffee is where all the stars are here in Franklin, Tennessee.
Cool.
So we get quite a few exotics, but I imagine you guys get more than we do because you're a money area.
I'll be the same.
There's some crazy spots around here. I mean, there's a place called Iron Gate Motor Condos about an hour south of us.
Is that where you videoed from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Naperville.
Yeah. It's like literally like all the car guys around that have like the crazy exotics. They all have units there, and basically you build out your dream man cave.
Yeah.
And they host like a monthly Cars and Coffee when there's not salt all over the ground. And it just, I mean, they fill the place, like line them up. Yeah. All the aisles filled with exotics. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen some of the bigger YouTuber guys hang out in places like that, and then I've seen your videos, and I was just like, man, one day I want to see one of these just massive, because they have apartments in them, right? And and then just massive garage.
Yeah.
And they're I'm assuming a
Chicago Auto Show hit us up.
Oh, definitely. So there's a track there too, right?
No, so that's Autobahn Country Club.
Okay.
Autobahn Country Club is kind of, it's in Joliet, which is a little bit more in the middle of nowhere, kind of.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, so
I thought it was just in California.
Is it near the NASCAR track?
It's not far from there, yeah.
Okay.
It's and they have like 2 tracks, and they can open it up into one big loop. And those, they've got like some condos built around it, but I don't think it's as built out as Iron Gate is, as like far as the community and things like that.
Yeah, this was built specifically. I think they're adding on to that racetrack, correct? Or they always have
It's been around for a long time, but for me, I think the location kind of, it's not like in the middle of like the big kind of higher end suburbs, I guess. You know what I mean? So
isn't that where I did Girls on the Run?
No, that was at the Route 66 or the NASCAR Speedway. So.
Wrong track.
So.
All right. Well, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just California that had those.
No, they're all over the place. They're popping up more and more of these places.
Yeah, we have one. They're planning something like that here, which I'm excited about. And it's funny is it's kind of in this middle of nowhere, and all the neighbors are fussing about it. And I'm like, do you realize the kind of garages are going to? This isn't some redneck garage, man. It's like high end things, man. So
I saw one that just real quick.
Go ahead.
One they're building in Tampa, right near the Tampa airport, that has like a skid pad, road course, an off-road park, and all the garages are built around the different areas of the tracks and the parks. That looks like it's going to be a pretty cool community down there to have like all of it in one, you know.
A lot of money there too.
Right.
I think there is with any of this stuff. I mean,
yes. Cars, any cars are money. So you guys were in Top Hill with this thing, right? So you were at Dirt Mountain, I'm assuming.
No, ours was like it didn't get built. So we had the VIN, and I think they like announced it somewhere around like August 23rd that they were going to stop production, and we had like an August 24th build date.
So airbag issue.
So we were like right on that at that point where it didn't get built, but we couldn't change to soft top because we already had So that was when they tried to do the version 2 tops. How is the top on that thing?
It's nice.
It's now that I stopped the squeaking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you don't have to. Our audience knows you don't have to cover anything up.
I don't cover it up, but I really think it's nice. But there was terrible squeakage.
Like I did not want to drive it for the first few weeks we had it because and it's not the one that you've seen a bunch of like YouTubers talking about where like it was right here above the driver door where it was popping. It wasn't that. Ours was in the passenger rear corner. It was like plastic creaking against plastic, like
and often.
Like you couldn't get up, we couldn't pull out of the garage into the driveway without it
hearing it,
making me crazy. So
wow.
But we took the whole top off. I put a little double-sided tape on the bottom side of the hard top.
Expensive fix.
Yeah, and put it back on, and it's been.
I couldn't believe it when he told me that. I'm like, are you serious?
I'm like, I'll deal with it in the spring when we start taking the top on and off. But for now, like, I'm actually enjoying driving it now. So
right.
It's a really smooth drive, as you know, too. It's almost too smooth. We get in then like the Wrangler, and I'm like, oh, is this the kind of not so smooth ride everyone says it is that I don't
on the Wrangler?
Yeah.
Well, there was somebody who was trying to say, oh, this thing drives worse than the Wranglers, and I love Jeeps, but they will wander all over the road. It's the oldest school driving thing you will ever drive.
Right.
And that's the appeal. But you get into this, and some guy's like, "Oh, this wanders more than my Jeep does." And I was like, "You've never owned a Jeep."
Yeah,
you're saying that.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
No way.
So was that a surprise for y'all when you actually got to drive one, especially because you can test them for a day and the hype of it might take over and you don't realize things. But once you live with it a little bit, you realize, man, they drive nice.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
nice.
we kind of expected it with the IFS, right? Like I expected it to be better, and even though both of our Jeeps, like a lot of people talk about death wobble and all that stuff on the Jeeps, we have not had any of it. Even with the 4.5-inch lift and 40s, like our Gladiator.
That thing, we've taken that to Tennessee twice now, and all over to Florida, it's amazing.
Like we would road trip it anywhere. It's been really good drivability wise, but getting into this was like night and day.
Yeah.
Drivability
wise. It's almost too nice is what I thought. Like, I'm like, okay, now it's making me, like the Wrangler's very nice. The JLs, they did a nice job even with those. And but then this is like super nice. And I'm thinking, wait, are we going to off-road this? Because it feels even nicer.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
we will. Don't get
of course, but it's always the first scratch. You got to get the first scratch out of the way. You're good.
We probably already did wrapping it. So done.
Well, so you guys, obviously you guys like crazy colors because your Jeep stuff y'all have done has been pretty outlandish, and I love it. I love that black. I love that black roof with that green, man. It just looks really, really good. So how hard was it to choose a color for this thing?
The hardest part was getting it.
Like, yeah, any wraps right now are nightmare.
We use 3M wrap. We're used to how it stretches and how to work with it, so we like to stick with 3M. And they only have 3 fluorescent colors. You got yellow, green, and orange, and we already had the yellow on the Gladiator, and everybody confuses the yellow with green already. So we were pretty much set on the orange, but we could not get our hands on it. And then so we were like going through the swatch book, like, what else can we do? But luckily our Bronco ended up getting so delayed. And then literally I was laying in bed on Christmas Eve, and I just happened to check the vendor for the vinyl, and the orange was in stock. And I was like, give me a full roll now.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah. So we jumped.
Right.
I was to the point where I had actually ordered the yellow, and we were just going to do the same color because it was showing in stock. And then I got an email like an hour later that they didn't have a full roll of it in stock. So we're like, back to the drawing board.
Which I was glad, because I didn't want another yellow. I don't know. It's done.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah. He was like creating. He's like, well, maybe we'll just. And I was like, but Mo is green. We're not going to wrap Mo ever. Like,
right.
It's stock color. So, but
which seats do you like better?
So Overlanding for Fun is asking this. Which seats are better, the JT or the Bronco? And I've well documented. I drove my Gladiator to Michigan last summer. That was the hardest ride of my life. I swear, the seats are so hard. Yes, they're so hard. Now mine's you guys probably have leather with yours, but I have it's like a Sport Plus. It's a Willys edition, so it's basic seats, but it was a nightmare. Like around town, I love it, but the seats hurt.
Is that different? That like the cushion wise?
I don't know.
Yeah, both of ours have the leather because they're both Rubicons with the leather. But we have literally driven the Wrangler. We drove to Sedona and back. We did 26 hours straight to Phoenix in it.
Wow.
And then we've taken the Gladiator. Like she mentioned earlier, we drove down to Orlando and then came back up through Tennessee last Christmas. We did it. Yeah. Last Christmas.
Yeah.
So we would literally drive those anywhere. I mean, we've been fine with. Now on the Bronco, we've got the marine grade vinyl seats.
Which are really nice.
I've been pretty impressed with them. We didn't get to see them ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we chose them as we had a list of things that were like, we could settle with this to get it faster, even though we didn't get it fast.
But the stuff that they told you was going to delay orders. So,
but it's very nice. I mean, I actually forget that it's not leather.
Right. So I can't say that we have enough seat time in it yet.
No, we actually do not. I have more seat time.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like my wife.
I've driven it to work, and when he goes to work, it's about a 5-minute drive. Mine's 40 one way. So I, by default have more seat time in it. Which I would say I feel like, to answer that question, I don't think one's better than the other.
Okay.
I could say the Bronco drives better than the Jeep, but I can't say the seats are better than the other at all. Can you?
Yeah.
Based on, the Bronco's very cozy. It's very luxurious, I think.
Yeah, I've been very happy with the marine grade vinyl or whatever they would call it, because everybody was like, "Oh, they're going to be like boat seats," and it's like, no, man. Just because they call it that doesn't mean it's. And I've gotten water in ours. We were silly and we took the top off in a snowstorm and it was snowing in it and like just wiped it out, no problem. If it was cloth seats or whatever, it'd been damp. So it's orange now, right?
Yes. Orange.
Something. Any plans to do anything with the top color? Oh yeah.
Our friends told us, they're like, you guys should wear red shirts so that people can tell it's orange.
Any plans to do anything with the roof color wise?
No, actually we're liking it, and we like, because we ended up, I don't know if you saw, we put that little bit of orange on the hood.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up taking it off because we didn't like it. Yeah. We like that the hood is black, the roof, like everything top wise is dark. And we think it's kind of a nice, cool contrast to the, and then the top matches the fenders and the bumpers, and so.
And that's the fun part about being able to wrap it yourself, is to customize as you go, or as like use 10 minutes the person, and then you get it back and you're like, oh, let's change that.
Well, when I was a kid, like the idea, like you would see all these people with these bondoed up little import cars or whatever, eventually I'm going to paint it, and that's the cool thing with wrapping now, is like, you can just, I want to change the color. Just change the color of it, I'm glad they didn't have it when I was a kid, because I would probably had colors like crazy all over it. But how wrappable do you think the roof would be, though, since you guys have a little bit of experience with it?
It'll stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it done. I've seen people do it. I don't know how much, because the texture, I don't know how that would show through, or how long it would hold up. But also, I mean, us being amateurs, we're obviously not professional rappers, but all those grooves and all the stuff on the roof line, it would be challenging, I think. So
I'm sure our friend James, he always helps us, and he has a lot more experience, so he might be able to do it. We couldn't do it ourselves. Right. Let's be honest. Right. We could not.
But no thought of having it painted or anything?
No, I mean, maybe if we were keeping it black, we might want to try to color match. Although I really like the color of this. Like, on the Jeeps, I typically am not the biggest fan of the like non-painted hard tops, but the color and the texture of this, I think they did a really nice job with it once they finally got them out,
I mean, so much so, I think the framing around the windshield, we're thinking of doing in a similar wrap color. It kind of matches, but I don't know. I also like all the different textures, of paint versus the plastic rip top or whatever that's made of, and then the wrap. So,
so do you guys have the heavy duty bumper and all that, right? Any plans to change all that stuff?
I don't know yet. I don't like, from what I'm seeing with like adding the way you add the winch is like a whole like weird extension out the front of it. So if I can find something that will kind of hide or recess the winch a little bit more, I'd probably consider it. I like the way the factory one looks. But again, if we decide to put a winch on it, which, I mean, we put winches on both the Jeeps. And I mean, from the wheeling we've done, I think we used it once, and it was just to like, because we had it, let's use it. But we could just as easily hook the toe strap and yank them out, so I don't know. I don't know how necessary it'll be to even put a winch on this one. So
what you're saying is you're not going to wheel it too hard.
No.
Isn't it necessary to put on? Because we already have 2 inches. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, both our other ones have them, and we haven't really used them yet. So
they just look cool.
I don't know. So we put them on those mainly because the bumpers we got have like a giant hole. Yeah. So if you didn't have, it would look ridiculous. So.
So right now you're just on 33s. You guys have to lift this thing, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Where are you at though with lifts? Because obviously you have 40s on your Gladiator, which is cool, but we're seeing 40s aren't working well with the Bronco just yet.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're not in a big rush to jump on a lift or wheels or tires. I mean, especially because it's winter here in Chicago, so I'm kind of delaying, especially because we just finished the wrap on it. So I'm not going to be in a big hurry to pull it out in the salt right now either.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that it's a mall crawler or a garage queen by any means.
We'll be called that though, and then it'll get scratched up, and we'll still be called mall crawlers.
But I mean, it's still clean and rust free for now, so why rush it?
Yeah, I feel for you guys up north, man. Like I had a buddy from Ohio come down and work on a vehicle with me, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna break this line, you're gonna break this and that because salt corrodes everything." And he got under my vehicle and he was like, "What the hell is this, man?" I was like, "Look, man, we don't deal with that stuff. They'll put a little bit of brine on the roads when we get snow, but it washes away quickly, and we'd never worry about that."
Right.
Yeah. I think we have to shout out Scott.
Yeah, you popped up the thing.
Yeah. I figured he was a buddy.
He's the one that helped us with all of our like studio lighting in here.
Nice.
Thing looking cool.
He added to it. So so he's talking about how the black light is helping it look orange, which it does look orange anyways, but yes, it does help. I
don't know if you noticed, but one of our latest install, like one of our upcoming videos we have literally 16 rock lights mounted under here now. So
wow.
I just finished that up yesterday before we
I know you finished a couple things up yesterday.
I did that and the new exhaust. So when you're ready, I can give a little teaser of the exhaust sound too. So.
Oh, definitely. Where you at with the rock sliders on this thing? Because they're very what you get with a Rubicon like, and I've always thought, well, they're adequate. Like, yeah, but I want something.
I look close on our Gladiator, right? How do I do this? Right about here, underneath our door. Not on the Gladiator, the Wrangler.
The Wrangler. Yeah.
That took a rock right about there because the stock rock sliders don't do much. But I'm also this is one thing that I have a hard time spending money on parts that their only job is to be smashed up, right? Like skid plates. You know, we've got the Rubicon and we've got the Badlands, which have all the factory, a lot of protection underneath.
Yeah.
Not enough for like hardcore wheelers, but
we're not there yet anyway.
Yeah, they've been pretty good so far, but I don't know. I mean, again, I'm still kind of like in a holding pattern, waiting to see what kind of comes to the market by spring.
Yeah. I think like lifts and stuff, we're going to see a bunch more. I think a lot of companies, there was a rush to get it to SEMA.
Right.
But honestly, at SEMA, there was like the same 5 companies. I mean, the cool thing with coil lifts, and it's kind of with the same with Jeeps, is you can put bigger springs, you know? Right. And honestly, unless you're just buying some just junk, like some Chinese made something that you know is going to fail at 10,000 miles, like coils are easy on these things. And you could build, I imagine somebody by Fox or somebody will make a nice lift that hopefully more affordable. Their initial lifts they've thrown out there are a little pricey.
Yeah, right.
But they look good.
Right. Well, and that's, you know, that you were talking about spending money on things you just going to get the crap beat out of them. Like that's less skids and all that. And they're the one thing you really need to spend money on if you're going to go through rocks. And it's like, but nobody can see how cool my truck looks.
Yeah, right. Right.
I got to spend $1,000 on this and nobody knows.
Ours does. The colors will just shine through.
Right. You know, we try to be like a nice happy medium between like show and go, right? Mm-hmm. Like we've put the Gladiator in like Tuner Galleria in Chicago, a big car show. And we take it to cruise nights and we show it off, but we also like to use it. We like to build them to be used. And I don't want to buy just crap parts that are going to fit, like you said, because I also want it to ride good on the street, but also perform off road. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard spending the money on those stuff that their only one goal is to be smashed.
I'm feeling like I'm learning something about you because I didn't know this was so tricky. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a necessity. So,
well, see, Kim, this is therapy. Really, this was an intervention.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to help you spend that. I also feel like even with our sports cars, not that we've had anything that was like billions of dollars, but we took pride in our sports cars and we always kept them nice. And that's just the whole entire, way the sports car life is. And we always still use them. A lot of people, we don't want to put a lot of miles on them. We're like, no, we're going to. Actually, when we ordered our Cayman and it came in, we had 3 weeks. And then we took it on a 6,000 mile road trip for 3 weeks. After the 3 weeks that we kind of break it in. But we're like, we'll break it in on the road trip. Like,
we'll get an oil change out there somewhere.
We enjoy every vehicle we have to its fullest. We are attached. It's tough, but he always says everything's for sale. So we even though we're attached, we we can get rid of them and replace.
Oh, of course, man. And people ask that a lot. Has anybody offered to buy this from you yet?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
People tell us when we're ready to sell it, let them know.
Yeah. I mean, we had one guy when we were at that Iron Gate, when I did that video on that, we had one guy that was ready to give us a bunch of money for it, but for the Gladiator. Yeah. But
okay.
At that point I was like, nope.
I know we have my parents and even I think your dad, and like when it comes to selling mojito, I don't think they want that out of the family because the color is just beautiful. So we'll see.
I really, I mean, part of your guys' Gladiators, one of the reasons why I bought one, because I love that platform, and it took a while, for me to convince my wife and daughter about it, because they were like, no, they look ugly, they're too long. I was like, but when you lift them, they come into their own. They don't look, especially the very basic Overland or whatever, they look awful.
Right.
But you put a lift on them and they look great.
Yeah, they do. Once you even it all out.
Sorry, I'm texting Kelly here because my cat is. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah, go take care of her. We can look through some of these comments. I saw somebody said something. Where did it go?
Mark King, I did see that.
My dad is like, that's right. They're gonna
animals are great.
But Matt King, what did you see?
Mark King. I saw a video too about the white wrap on the roof, and it actually, I thought it turned out a lot better than I would have expected it to come out for, especially doing white. I think that's a hard color.
And the Jay Zen, he wants to know our original reservation date. What was it? 18 months, 5 months.
The original we reserved within the first hour. Of the reveal. And then I had texted my dad that we decided to reserve one, and he's like, well, reserve me one too. So we had mine, and his was 20 minutes later. And the only reason ours took an hour was because the thing just kept crashing. And it turned out the deal, as soon as I tried a different dealer than the one I was originally trying to reserve through, went through right away. So I don't know what was happening with the dealer we were trying to book through, but
just the way it was trying to route the orders. Because I will say that was kind of part of the nightmare. And before we get into that, the guy just joined the chat, says, do y'all think the Bronco would make a good family car? Well, I'm gonna let y'all answer that one.
I really like that question. It is our family, so we don't have kids.
This is our third child.
So our vehicles are our kids, but minus that, we were actually out to dinner with some friends, Scott Carter, who's on here, and some other friends in Geneva, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking back to the Bronco. It was all black at the time. And this couple was talking to us. They're like, is that yours? And they were all about it because they have kids and they were looking into getting something. And the Bronco was one of the options. But we told them, I think it's a fabulous family car. I mean, I don't have kids, and there's all the safety things that I know parents want.
Yeah.
Their vehicles that we don't care about, I guess.
And as long
screw your kids.
But it did do better on the crash test ratings than the Jeeps. But also, as long as all your seatbelts work, ours don't all work. So as long as you get one that has all the seatbelts working, it'll probably be great for kids. Yeah. But our middle seatbelt on the rear when we picked it up has not worked since we got it.
You can't pull it either. You can't, it's just out enough where it's all crinkly and it's not set back, and you can't. But no, I think it's a great family car. There's a lot of room. It's luxurious.
Airbags everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing they've outdone Jeep on this, and is all the side impact airbags and all that. There's a lot of protection with this thing, and I think Jeep will step that up. By the way, I think Jeep got caught being a little bit lazy. The new JLs look too much like the JKs. The dash and stuff looks a little better, but I think this is going to force Jeep to hopefully do away with the transfer case, the manual shifting transfer case too, which I like, but on a lot of them, it's just electronic anyways. It's just like a goofy redundancy that they could have done a push button with.
Right. And I've seen plenty of people posting I can't get mine into 4-wheel drive, or it's grinding, it's making all this noise, so I think it's just nice to be able to press a button or turn a dial in these days.
Right. And my guys in the chat, you guys have been quiet tonight. Either you're listening or something's up. I've got 86 viewers right now and only 54 likes. If you guys would smash that like button, I greatly appreciate that.
We made you like before we came on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, look, these are awesome guests. Like, hey, we took care of that problem. We got you.
You know what it's like.
Let's see. Jero says, worth getting RF or a Sasquatch on the Badlands. Oh, RF. I'm lost, Jared, what you're asking.
Yeah, on the RF.
I don't know on that one.
I mean,
I like the bat. To me, I was being practical, and we ordered a black diamond, and I was going to do Sasquatch anyways, and I was like, well, I'm getting the marine grade vinyl. I'm getting basically everything except for the sway disconnect, and I was like, you know what? It's only going to cost me, I think it's like $3,500 more basically for the sway disconnect. And I was like, you know what? I want that. Have you got to play with that feature at all just yet?
With the disconnect, we did the one video.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Where we flex tested it versus our Wrangler, which people were unhappy about because we did our JL on stock suspension with 35s versus my dad's Badlands Sasquatch on 35s. I thought that was a pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
They're both stock suspension on 35s just to see. And so that was our first time trying out because we went up, we used our car hauler. We kind of pulled up on it and hit the disconnect. So it was kind of cool to see it disconnect mid-flex. Like we were talking yesterday, that I don't know how often we would actually disconnect in the middle of an obstacle because we typically just, when we get to the trails, we disconnect, right?
We're just ready to go.
But
maybe that's because we're still noobs. And when you're not a noob, you just know when to disconnect and reconnect.
I mean, I guess there's certain terrains where you want to be going faster speeds and then you get to an obstacle and maybe you forget, forget to disconnect. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see if there's a couple things like the trail turn assist on this. I don't know. I'll forget about it is what I'll do. I love the placement of those buttons though. How do you like that versus the Rubicon?
Yeah, it is. I like where they put those two. It's nice
because Rubicon's right in the middle of the shifting and all that. It seems like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I really thought about them being in a bad spot until you see where the Broncos are and it's a better spot.
Yeah.
Same with we have the auxiliary switches. Did you get those? They just look cool up there with the toggles as opposed to the little buttons down below.
Yeah.
Because what you get 4 on yours, 4 buttons.
Wranglers get 4.
Yeah. Like Ford knew to one up everything. Like they may not hit a home run with their one ups, but they knew we got to just do one a little bit better than what the Jeep offering is.
Right.
I even like the window. I think the window buttons are much better placement versus Jeep because I get with Jeep. I've had the truck for almost a year and I still forget where they're at.
It's.
I think I just do anyways.
It's been hard for us because we're so used to where they are on the Jeeps,
and now because of.
Well, the Jeep is like on the.
They're in the front.
Yeah,
now that I think
like,
about it, but
like this, so that the front 2 are top and the bottom 2 are the rears. But on the Bronco, because it's like here, like it's opposite. So the bottom 2 are your front 2 windows. So I'm always fumbling to like.
We're also still haven't had a lot of time in it,
right? So yeah, we get a little bit of confusion, but that's because
I definitely think the Bronco ones are just more awkward because I'm like this.
Yeah.
Like with my T-Rex fingers trying to get with it.
Well, somehow I've somehow one of me or my mods has hidden your father for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
I was like, did he say something? I don't think you would say something.
No, I think there was somebody above him I was trying to take care of.
Oh,
and
dad back. I'm like, my dad got blocked.
If one of the mods in here could figure that one out, it's Carl. If you could figure out how to get Carl back, I would appreciate that. Or Kelly, if you're watching this. I apologize, Dad. I swear I didn't mean to do it. We're a pretty easygoing show here. How has the points been for you guys? Did you get all your points that you were supposed to?
So it got a little confusing because so my dad and I both have the same name. I'm a junior.
Yeah.
And I reserved both Broncos under my name, same name. So I just put them in as both my name. So it's been a little confusing because I ended up getting his soft top points for 200,000 for switching to the soft top. So he wasn't too happy about that, and he didn't realize that I had gotten his. So he was like contacting the dealer, like, "Hey, where's my points?" And then they were like, "Well, somebody got them," and so we did realize it. But I think I got everything I should have gotten. He's still missing like it was like 22,000 reservation points or something like that.
Right.
He's still missing that, but I got everything I was expecting, I think. So,
well, I'm trying to find find your father.
Probably laughed. I texted him.
Okay, I apologize about that.
No. It's clearly unintentional because I'm like, I can't imagine if he didn't do anything. What would he say? He's
what
like,
asshole are we talking to here, man?
So who knows? It'll be fine. I sent him a text and explained in case he even knows. He may not even know what happened, to be honest.
Well, so I've got your I've pulled up your Instagram because you guys kill it on Instagram. And if you guys in the chat go over to it's ShockerRacing Garage, go check this out because you guys like with the reels and all this stuff. Like James, I was talking to you, man. Like you're always doing something, and you tagged me in something, and I was like, "Great, man! Grandpa Dave here is coming in because I'm just like pushing buttons. Like, what do I do? Just hit enter. Did it do it? But I love you. You guys kill it on the Instagram stuff.
James is amazing. He absolutely loves it.
That's my favorite part of all of this stuff. Like not of like the vehicles in general, but as far as like having a YouTube channel and doing all this social media stuff, like I love this. I love the marketing of things and putting the content out there and sharing our journey with the vehicles. That's the fun part for me. So
right. And there, if you guys are curious, you definitely can see their all their other builds. I love this. This was hilarious to me.
Oh God, I hate that video.
Oh, that's hilarious, man! In the heels, I was like, "How is this girl not breaking her neck in that stuff?" Like,
you could have played it. I'm not that embarrassed by it.
That reel.
It's not my favorite reel.
Just to mention, that reel has like gone nuts this week.
Really,
like,
this one I just showed.
Yeah, I think it's at like 800,000 views.
Oh wow.
Because if you look, it's like all the smack talkers talking about how we are mall crawlers and that thing never goes off roading, and then you should never jack on the differential.
Yeah, I was gonna say where the jack placement is.
But that's the stuff people like, right? They just want to trash talk, right? So
I love you jumping off the Jeep or the Gladiator in the snow. It's awesome. I was too chicken.
Oh, you even got a drone shot of it.
Yeah, this was our buddy Scott that was just on there, got that for us too. So
yeah, he also did the jump. They were very brave.
Knowing me, somebody would have put something in there, and I would have just taken myself out.
There's that part of me at the last second. I'm like, I can't. Something's gonna go wrong. I can't do it.
I'm the one that does all the plowing there, so I know what gets.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we use that as my personal playground.
Oh, nice. I was curious. I was like, there's a connection there because I see that in a lot of spots. But let's see what you guys, your Instagram, like I don't know how you have like all the content. Like I think my phone's full of content, and then I'm just like, no, I don't have enough.
Because James, wait, was I driving?
Yeah, that was you driving DJ's Off-Road Adventures Jeep. That was at Turkey Bay.
Oh, okay.
Back in November.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's a lot of families out there. Why don't go run and get the books? I know. I'm advertising our friend. I should. I don't know if that's okay, but you're fine. Our friend David, he writes children's books with the Jeeps and his adventures. And
let me get you back up here.
You should be checking into these books.
They're based on his real life experiences with off-road, like learning road. So
if y'all have a link to that, just throw it in the chat there, and we'll highlight it here.
He is, James, kudos to him. He really is addicted to this, and like you said, the content. He's in bed for probably 4 hours every day doing content. So
oh yeah,
and in the bathtub.
Sometimes in the bathtub.
I'm usually in my hot tub, not the bathtub, doing content.
Yeah, no, he takes like an hour bath time in the morning. So during that, he's either reviewing getting ideas or creating reels, or I don't know.
Sometimes a good soak will do you right. I love this this video. I'm assuming it's done all right for you because I did something similar. Let me pull this up. You guys did the LED lights in the hatch of the how have you enjoyed that?
You know, it's definitely an awesome thing to have. We did it on the Wrangler, so we're like, we got to do it. And again, we just haven't had enough time to like actually use the Bronco yet. You know,
Yeah.
I did that, and then I think we cruised it we had it out for a couple of weeks, and then, you know, it was the holidays, and then the wrap came, and
yeah, it's been really pampered.
Yeah, so
I
think we got about 1,000 miles on it.
Over. We're like,
a little over 1,000.
We're well over 1,500.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, she's been driving it more than I thought.
Almost that. We're probably like at the 1,800.
No, we're good. I'm glad. But yeah, it's definitely one of those features that it's like, once you have it, you like almost can't go without it.
It's a no-brainer. You're like, how has manufacturing never picked up on this?
Right.
Because we had it on we did this with our Xterra, so you'd lift the tailgate up, and I just had mine wired right into the dome light. It was silly. Right. It was silly. And you open up the hatch, and you're at getting groceries or whatever. It's dark, and you have all this light. Or we took it out camping, and it gives you, like you can see in your picture here, it gives you a lot of light. Really
it's ridiculous how bright that thing is.
And just to point out, we did do 2 in there on the Bronco. Because of the way that the window, how far up the window goes, and the way we angled the light, that one was the one on the rear glass was shining so far out that we put a second one up inside the hardtop to light inside. So that one would have been a good one for me to put to the dome light. I probably should have put that one to the dome light and the other one on a switch.
Yeah.
Right.
Would have been a cool way to do it, but I just wired them both to a switch so we can turn them on when we want.
And I think the molding of that too, the way we had to place the light also,
on the rear window,
made it where we needed to. So
yeah, and that's one of the bummers about this thing not having that sport bar down the middle is lighting. And let's not act like Jeep is not great for lighting. You open the door, but the Bronco is like it's pretty bad as far as like well thought out lighting. Right. And you think you have all this plastic area on the sidebars. Could you have not done something there?
Throw a few little LEDs in there. It wouldn't have taken much to like give you some light, but
yeah, I'm honestly, I'm going to do a take on yours, but I'm going to get some of these LED strips and put them on the top of the roof bars.
Oh yeah.
So, and you can do it. They make them with 3M tape, so they'll stick to the bars.
Yeah.
And that way it'll hit up with the top and just spread the light enough that.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah. So I've been playing with that idea, and I think I can wire it just to the dome light. So when you open the doors,
it'll glow in it. That'll look really cool glowing up underneath the heart.
Especially if you can do you can do the color changing ones. That would be fun.
Yeah.
My daughter would love that.
Good question.
What so I know you did an exhaust on this thing, and I know you can't talk too much about it, but get into the stock exhaust versus what you've done. And I know you did it yesterday, so I know you don't have a lot of time with it.
Yeah, so I didn't actually get to take it out and drive it, so I don't know about drone or anything like that. But we've been lucky enough to have a good partnership with AWE Tuning with the Jeeps. And so they sent us out. Literally, we've got one of their first kits for the Bronco. And I got it all installed yesterday. Super easy. I did it on the ground. I didn't even jack it up. Like, it was that easy to take the stock one off and throw this one on. The stock exhaust comes off in 2 pieces. It's 3 bolts and some clamps.
Yes.
Super easy. And then I bolted theirs up, which is a few extra pieces. As far as drone goes, they're known for like their patented like anti-drone, whatever. We chose to go with one that's got dual exhaust tips, but with the lighting, you can't really see them. So we got dual exhaust tips. But one thing that was cool is that they're including this with, I can show this because they already put out their like teaser video of this, but they're calling this their bash guard. And they're including this pipe with every one of their exhaust kits for the Bronco. And basically what this will do is where ours bolts up to the over axle pipe and goes to dual tips, this will replace it when you want to hit the trails. So it's 1 bolt and a hanger, and you could throw this on, and it's basically just an exhaust dump.
Yeah.
It's going to dump out underneath there.
Oh,
so when you go off-roading, it's not going to smash up on rocks and things like that. So I can have the dual exhaust tips when we are
mall crawling,
grocery shopping,
going to work,
and car shows and things like that. And then when we go to the trails, it take me 10 minutes and I can swap that out, probably less. Which is the same thing we've done on our Gladiator.
Yeah, I was like, we have the same
swap
thing.
it out. So.
Do we have that on Mo too, or just the Gladiator?
Not on Mo, no.
Oh, okay, because I do remember that.
We happen to do that. Like they don't, for the Jeep ones, they didn't really sell it that way, but I happened to get both options, like their trail option and their tip option. And so I've been doing that anyways with the Gladiator. And then it was cool that they made it standard with their Bronco kits.
Right. Blueford is asking where is the access switch for the wires in the back? How did you? I know you have a video on that as well.
Yeah, there is a full like install video, like how to wire it and everything on our YouTube channel. But what I did is in the passenger side of the compartment, because I ran the wires down the passenger side rear glass, and in the hardtop, which I have a quick disconnect in there. So when I take the top off, I can quick disconnect it. And then on the inside of the panel, you've got there's a little rear cargo light that's factory. Mm-hmm. And ours has the lighter plug. I don't know if every model has the 12-volt lighter in there or not. Mm-hmm. But we just tapped in off of that 12-volt lighter and put the switch. There's a little cutout panel that's, I don't know, 3x6 on the side there. It literally just grab it and it pops off. That's where I mounted my switch, just into that panel. So
yeah, go check the video because you guys do a really, really good video on that as well. And as well as the wrap. Like I was interested, you're the first one that I've seen like show how to take the door handles off. You know, most people just like snap and suddenly it's wrapped. Yeah. You guys like
those are awful. You laugh, but no, those are absolutely awful.
They were a lot harder than harder than it made it look in the video, but also harder than the Jeeps.
No, way harder.
So but I'm going to do like a whole separate video on that because we did have one of the handles when we took it out. They actually should come out nice and easy, mm-hmm. but one of the clips inside actually pulled back on us.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to take the door panel apart, take it off.
Fish it out.
So I've got video on how to take the door panel off and then kind of pop that back into place. So
it's a good thing it happened, right?
But I mean, they're not awful, but they were harder than the Jeeps. So.
Yeah.
I would consider them awful. We let them go for the evening till the next day. That's awful. Because should be put the Jeeps are like shoop, shoop, done, just like that.
And I did drop my 5mm socket down into the door, so that.
You almost went to the shop and asked the shop guys. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
I think that's
just
bad.
The one door. The one door.
Well, your headaches is going to save a lot of people time, and
that's because we're noobs, and obviously, we don't.
That's one thing I like to do with our videos is that we're learning as we do these things. And I know I have questions, and I see all these videos on how to install lights or how to wire things up, and people are like, yeah, you just mount the light here, and then just they skip over the running the wires part, right? Like,
right.
Or the mishaps.
I don't need to know how to put the 2 bolts in to mount the light on the cowl. I want to know where you ran the wires and how you
where you messed up, because I might mess up like that, and now I can navigate.
So we try to be as detailed as possible,
which is hard because as creators, you want to kind of share your experience with this and help people and show them how to do it. But at the same point, there is Troll Nation out there who for they've done it better, even though they probably own a set of tools.
Right.
They can just do it better. They can, like, especially if you off-road. Oh man, like, and I'm just as guilty of it as you see people doing something. You're like, well, I would have done that way different. You're like, well, you weren't there. And like taking these things apart, it's not like you had a PDF manual out there, which is like, oh, here's how you disassemble this.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, if I'm doing it or taking the time to make a full video, it's because I couldn't find that information somewhere else already. You know what I mean? Like, so I may do it. I may run the wires one way because that's the way I figured out how to do it now. But hopefully somebody a month from now figures out a better way and puts out another video so I can learn something for the next time I do it, So.
Oh man, I've taken a lot of heat on I did that 67 Designs utility track up front, and people are like, I can't believe you drilled into your dash. And I'm like, it's not like I put this part on there and you're like, next week I'm like, you know what? I don't like this.
Right.
Yeah.
I put it on there because I'm going to use it.
Right.
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 Yeah.
If I sell the vehicle, guess what? It goes with the vehicle. I'm not taking this off, man.
Well, and so do all the other like damages. Like,
yes, you get into all the problems.
It's used, and it sounds like Jeepers don't mind all that. So
I've learned to just love the haters because they're watching the content, right? Like, they're the ones blowing up that reel for 800,000 people because they're talking smack. So it's like, if you're gonna put yourself out there, you just got to kind of have thick skin, you know. So
yeah. Old Dave would have been. I would have been protecting my baby. I would have been like every chat. I would have been like a paragraph, poorly done paragraph of me trying to get my point across.
Justify.
And I was like, you know what? I can delete you and move on. Or a lot of times I can leave you up there. And usually my audience is pretty good that they will jump in and be like, hey man, why don't you back off? I had a dude because I have a drink here told me I needed AA and all this stuff. And I'm like,
told me that.
I'm like, dude, I literally have a drink here and maybe every once in a while. Like, this is my fun. This is where I get to hang out and let go a little bit. And people assume, oh, you're, everything about it, you're doing it wrong.
My favorite is I get a lot of dudes talking about my hair.
They hate his hair.
What's wrong with your hair, man?
He's too old for this hairstyle.
I'm too old to not have a buzz cut, I guess.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, no. When I flip my hat backwards, I got so much and the only reason it's not today is because I'm so proud of my boys. But I've worn my hat backwards since I was 10 years old, man. It's just what I do. I don't think anything of it. And I did it on 1 or 2 videos, and I got so much crap about that. But you know what? Like you were saying, they were watching, and they watched the video. Or my soul patch.
Yeah.
Whatever. Thanks, I guess. I don't know.
I'm like, say what you want about me. As long as they're not talking about her, I'll leave all the comments. I'll have fun with them. I'll play along. But, it's
I still
have thick skin,
I really love the comment on when I did the dead pedal install. And one guy said, that's what your clutch is for. And I thought, you drive a manual because the clutch is not a dead pedal. Like, what?
Yeah, if you want to wear the clutch out, sure, just keep your foot on it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's like stick driving 101. Like, don't rest your foot on the clutch.
I was like, oh, that nice one, but not so nice.
Yeah, Kelly, I had a G35 and she destroyed the clutch in it. She was I mean, she can drive but she doesn't drive them, so she just doesn't know better. And man, I got that thing. She came home from shopping and I was like, you could smell it coming up the driveway, and I was just like, time to get rid of that car because I'm not replacing that one.
It's very hard for me not to have a manual transmission.
I do miss them. Off-roading, I hate it.
Favorite.
The older I get, the lazier I get. But you give me a sports car or something. I don't want. I mean, paddle shifting's fun, and you guys have got to play around with the 392, which
I don't like.
I don't guess it's optional, right? They all have paddle shifting.
They all have it, yeah.
I feel like it's a video game. I don't want to play the video. I want to drive the vehicle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having a hard time with that, but.
Where do you guys stand with the 392? And I've told my audience, like, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's something that Jeep guys have been asking forever. Hey, please put a V8 in this thing, and Jeep wouldn't because they didn't have to. Right. And then I think Ford scared them a little bit with the Bronco, and they're like, oh damn, we can do it real quick. Let's just drop one in there.
Yeah.
But how is that? And then Ford's got their potential Raptor coming out. What do you think is going to happen there?
It's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, who doesn't want more power? Like I said in our first 392 video, it was like, do I need a V8 in a Wrangler? No.
But you don't put one in there because you need it. You do it because you want it.
But I sure as hell want it. And there's nothing like starting that up and like and just that rumble, or like you're on the highway and somebody a sports car kind of goes past you kind of quick, and you step on the gas and a Jeep sounds like that. It's like
sneaky Pete.
Yeah.
Just like to the drag strip. It was really. They were laughing.
The woman taking like our money when we pulled in to race.
Like
it was
70.
Like we had it on a car hauler, like we were towing it in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna race that.
And I only stressed that she was 70 because she was making fun of us. I'm like, oh my God, she's not even like, she was intrigued after she realized that we were racing it.
I love that. You're like, chick, I wouldn't have messed with you if you wouldn't have I wouldn't thrown your age out there like that.
Right.
I was like, yeah, we're going to race this. This is what we came for.
Right. And Blueford here says, I'm 47 with a mohawk. Live your life, man.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
I've given up on like worrying about what, and that's a young person thing, is people that worry about that stuff.
Right.
Like, I have a receding hairline. I don't care. Like, I can't, my genetics are what they are.
Right.
Right.
Is what it is.
I still got it all. I'm going to keep enjoying it. Right.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Enjoy it while I got it. Right. So,
so I'm curious. I want to hear this exhaust of this thing because, and I know the audience does. And tell the audience once again, what is under this thing?
So this is the AWE tuning exhaust, and we went with the dual tip. So it's a single pipe, but it splits off into dual. We went with the black tips coming out the back.
They're pretty.
Ours is the 2.7 liter motor, but the same exhaust kit is designed to work on. One kit will work on either motor, a 2-door, a 4-door, and they all come with the bash guard. So really, the only thing that's like an optional is if you want a single tip coming out the back, or if you want dual tip.
The dual.
So we went with the dual tips. Let's see if I can just remote start this thing here, and hopefully the sound comes through for you. But I don't know what
Fix and repair daily.
Oh, that does sound nice.
Can you hear it? Does it come through okay?
Oh, yeah.
Let me give it a little rev in that. Really? Because we don't want to carbon monoxide, right?
Oh, yeah. It sounds great.
Yeah, we're happy with it. It sounds different than the Jeep and Gladiator, but I think that's what I like is now it has its own distinct sound.
Yeah.
It's not like obnoxiously loud.
No.
But it adds a little bit of a growl to it, I think. And we'll see. I don't expect it to have drone or much at all when we get it out, because I know that's what they like focus on.
Yeah.
But we literally haven't even had it like on like running long enough to burn off there's that bit of oil on it or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we'll officially drop our video on February 1st with it. So we'll have driving footage and all that stuff. So
yeah, definitely guys, go check their channel out, because I mean, you guys are just doing what everybody else does, like you guys seem to do your own thing. And I mean, if somebody does what y'all do, fine, but you guys just run your own ship, it seems like.
Yeah, we just, like I said, we like to be a little unique, but we're out here learning like everybody else, and we're researching parts, and we're trying to figure out the best lift kits, and just doing our thing to make it our own.
We're very, very raw.
Right. So just learning.
No secrets.
I ordered wheel spacers today, so I'm kind of excited by that, because I think the Sasquatch package, I just need them to stick out just a little further. I'm one of the weird ones. I actually like the wheels that come on the vehicle. I even like the ones that you guys have. The ones that Ford is putting on that, they're kind of with the beadlock capable. I actually like those wheels, and I don't know that I'm going to change for a long time. Do you guys have anything planned for wheels?
So no.
Yeah, I think it's the same one.
Short answer, no. Is just I haven't found anything that I've been like in love with.
Right.
That everybody else isn't already doing. That's.
Did you say we might go with what we have on Neo though?
I really like the ones that we've got on our Gladiator, which are from TerraFlex.
Okay.
They're the Nomad wheels, and they've got that air down system built into them.
It's really nice.
So literally we've got them set to 12 PSI. When we pull up off-roading, I literally open a valve, the air down to 12 PSI. I close it and I'm done, ready to go. And they've got like a plastic rash ring around them that protects the wheel. So I really like the wheel. I think it's a good looking, kind of clean
it's nice.
Wheel. And supposedly they've got a set that might be maybe kind of sort of gonna work for the Bronco.
Yes, there it is. Yes, that's cute.
So yeah, that's them. And if you see the like anodized red stems on them, one of the stems is the air down valve. So it's super nice. I mean, we pull up to the track and I mean to the trails. To the track.
You did race it though.
Yeah, so we did race it.
That's not wrong.
But we pull up to the trails and I'm like aired down in a minute while everybody else is still like taking their valve stem caps off, you know. So,
I see. I can't. What is the company you're using for your little hitch slider?
That's 4122.
I've been following those guys. That's kind of interesting.
It's definitely it's nice. It's clean looking. It's got the little like hook, like where you can put like a soft shackle through it. And it's got the slider. Before that, we were using a different one from Body Armor. And that one, it worked really good. It did the job. But a lot of times it turned into a shovel. So like I'd be climbing to something that light just turned off. Oh. We just lost the light in here.
Wow.
I think the battery might have gone down.
No, you're fine.
But sorry, Scott, one of your lights died.
Now in the dark. Scott, get over here. Fix it. Just kidding.
But yeah, we were running into a lot of things on the trails with the other one where I'd be climbing and it would literally dig in so much that I would have to back up, take it out, continue on. So
now the one you're using, man, they think a lot of those. I will say though.
What do you mean?
The price of that thing seemed.
Yeah, I will agree with that on that one. Yeah, for sure.
I've been looking at those and I'm like, do I really need that? I kind of want it, but do I really need it?
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some other options out there, you know. And again, I think it was Body Armor 4x4 was the one I had, which also doubles as like a step, which was kind of nice to like get up into the bed of the Gladiator, things like that. So it had some like pluses and minuses, but on the other one, I like kind of the clean look on it. So,
well, so I have to ask, and this is probably, I don't know, this will be funny, I think. What is going on with these crazy reels?
Oh, this is my Lana. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite. I made this reel. I don't know if you could tell. So this
is really showing off a lot of Kim's real personality, and we've been told by friends that like I
thought about going to do burpees there all of a sudden.
I would.
Yeah, I kind of like tone her down a little bit, but
he does.
But that's Kim's legit personality.
All day, every day.
Right there.
The minute I wake up, I'm like a gazelle out of that bed.
I'm sitting here looking at these things as you were talking. I was like, what? I have to see what's going on here.
Well, the two girls in this video are my best friends. And one of them is when Gina was test driving Mo at the dunes because they were contemplating getting a Jeep
as
well. And I was like, Gina, you have to drive it. And she's a little apprehensive, but I was so proud of her. She just got behind the wheel and took it. And now they have one, and it's called Boo Jeep, and it's white, and it's amazing. And they're having so much fun with their kiddos and with the Jeep. And then Lana's we were on our way to a Mexican restaurant that night, and we were in the back of the Jeep, and she took that photo what is it called?
Boomerang.
The boomerang. And I just added it into that video, which also, if people watch that reel, it has the girls song, Girls Run, Who Run the World, Girls. By, I don't know who it's by, but
Beyonce.
I thought so, but I was like, is it Beyonce or is it Gwen? But regardless, so that was just like a compilation of the girls and the Jeeps.
Well, I know this is part of the family fleet here, man. And you guys, your family has like a killer. I'm just jealous of the mini lift there, let alone like all the other cool vehicles that you guys get to play around in. And,
the lift is, I will say the lift was awesome when we were doing sports cars.
Yeah.
But it's like unusable for the Jeep stuff almost. So it's are
they just too heavy or
it'll lift them, but I can only go, especially like with the hard top there hanging, I can only go so high off the ground.
We do have a tall garage, but it's still like they're too large, the Jeep vehicles, to put one on top, one on the bottom. At least if we had a sports car, we could put it on top and then maybe put a Jeep on.
Not even.
But
I find it's easier, like especially the Gladiator, because it's so high. It's easier to just get on a creeper and roll under there and work on it than it is to like lift it up and So with the 4x4s, I just find it's easiest just to work on them on the ground, really.
Yeah. I am. How are you? Are you guys excited for some tube doors on the Broncos? Because it seems like you guys like tube doors.
I love tube doors.
Yeah,
love.
Definitely be interesting to see. I'm hoping again this spring. Hopefully, more stuff will be available. I did really like that one concept one. I think it was one of Ford's concept that had that like weird like it was like a half of a half door or something.
Yes, those were awesome.
They're cool, but I know they said, well, they're not making the ones with the like cutout in them. And then I'm sure they're not making that other partial door thing, but those were pretty slick looking.
Yeah. I think the one thing I'm going to miss on Bronco versus Jeep is where the foot placement, like when your doors are off, like to be able to kick the peg on the outside. And Kim just realized that there's no.
I just had to look at it. It's so new. I'm like,
I wonder if somebody like DZ or something with that cover though could incorporate like a flip down peg or something that
I'm sure. Well, when I was riding around in Michigan last year testing a first edition out, and my foot would actually where the door peg is at the bottom, I could keep my foot up there, but it's just not like the Jeep thing. The thing with the DZ stuff that I worry about is that you're driving down the highway and all of a sudden it just flies off.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't get to play with them much in SEMA to kind of see how they attach, but I
thought they bolted into
they may, I don't remember.
Okay. I saw, because when we were wrapping it, one of our buddies was like, oh yeah, I just saw these ones from SEMA from DZ, and he was showing me, but I thought that they bolted into the stock door placements, the locker.
They may, because they had them for the middle and the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you're all being black. Have you noticed any where they didn't get the hinges all painted properly?
Ours all looked black. I saw a picture of that this week. I don't know if it was on one of the groups on Facebook or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it fully painted in there?
Yeah, I know the first couple runs of production ones. Yeah, they didn't have their robots in tune just yet. Yeah. So you've got an exhaust. Mm-hmm. You've got it wrapped. What's the next plan, man?
We did get the Whipple Tune. I know we talked about it last.
Oh, nice.
Didn't get a chance to like tell you that, but we did get the Whipple Tuner. I have not installed it yet. I want to kind of get some drive time with the exhaust without it to see if I notice anything with it. I'm also was a little nervous about it because I did realize after I had ordered it that it doesn't like I'm used to like most tuners will when you install the tune will kind of save your OEM tune off and so you can revert back to it. But I've realized that the Whipple Tuner doesn't do that. So once you install their tune, you're kind of stuck with it. So we'll see. I got to do a little bit more research before I actually install that thing.
Me too.
Bird Dog Overland's asking, which spacers am I going with? They are from CJ Pony Parts. They're hub-centric spacers. It's like $160. Not too bad. And they come with the black lugs too, which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
And spacers to me are spacers. As long as they're hub centric, who cares?
Right. What thickness did you go with?
1.5 inches.
Okay.
And I did want to go, honestly, that I kind of just wanted just maybe a 1/2 inch of just, but is what it is.
You can't really get much smaller and actually have the bolt on one, so. Which,
and I'm not a big fan of the plates.
Right. You'll get a lot of hate on it either way for spacers, right?
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm iffy. I'm always iffy on spacers because I've seen them break, but I've seen people buy cheap stuff that just and then they don't torque them down properly, and you're like, well, you got what you.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes there's reasons why they break.
And there is reasons like don't buy cheap stuff because it's cheap stuff. I know Smitty built some things they build are great, and guess what? Harbor Freight makes some things that are great. If I want a one-off something that if it breaks, I'll go to Harbor Freight. But if I want a good tool, I'm probably going to buy something a little more quality,
Right.
And wheel spacers, like I always tell people with tires and wheels and stuff, in the old Nissan Xterra community, Nissan guys are the cheapest people you'll ever meet.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I that's probably why I was there. But they would buy retreads like crazy. and get the tread rights. Like, oh, I can get a 35-inch and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? My family ride in these vehicles and a lot like wheel spacers. Guess what? I don't want to be riding down the road and all of a sudden my tire goes flying out from me. So definitely spend some.
I've witnessed that. It's scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
The receiving end of the tire. It's scary.
Right? No, I had a guy at an event, man. His wheel went on a trail.
Yeah.
Took off. Well, and he's in y'all's area. He was on the Truck Night in America show. He was in a black Xterra, and he beat the piss out of the thing and tried to rebuild it and show up to an event that I used to run. And the poor truck was, and all of a sudden the tire went rolling down the thing, man. But so guys, any final questions out there? Let's get them. They're teachers, and they've got bright vehicles behind them. They might be starting to get worn out. I've had some of these, like, and I wouldn't do this to y'all, but we did a 4-hour podcast on this with Overland. Where's he at? We're Overland for Fun. I always forget Tim's name. I couldn't get off the show with him. He just kept asking questions, and I was like, I gotta go to work tomorrow, man. What are we doing here?
we probably wouldn't mind if it had been last night, because then she wouldn't be working tomorrow.
No, I know, and we definitely appreciate your time. So, are you guys itching to kind of compare this thing off road?
For sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
But he made me nervous today because he's saying a lot of them are breaking off road, and I'm
we
like,
talked about yesterday.
Maybe I don't want to drive it.
But
well, see, if you break it, then it's not James's fault. He can go, well, she broke it. She just didn't know what she was doing. I know.
No, I heard the breaking, so I'm like, you can drive it. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
No, I think a lot of the brake, like independent front suspension, if you're coming up to ledges, you have to know. You just can't cram it in there. Sometimes with the Jeeps, you can bump them a little bit, and you just have to know one wheel at a time. Like it's a different wheeling, and it's a learning curve.
I think that, we, from day one when we put 40s on our Gladiator, the internet tells you, right, you can't run 40s on stock axles, right? Everybody, all the haters tell you can't do it. We're 2.5 years, 18,000 miles. We wheel it. We have fun with it. We still have stock Dana 44 axles in it. I did trust the front end when we re-geared. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I think, to your point, is we're not bouncing it on rocks. We're carefully crawling rocks, right?
Sure.
And again, we're not like the super hardcore wheelers. We're not we are, but we try to get out a handful of times a year and hit as many trails as we can. But I think if you are smart, from what we've learned in the way that you wheel, you can kind of, like you're saying, avoid some of those things that you're seeing. And like we were talking last night, is it Texas Bronc Buster?
Yeah.
He's the one that's out breaking them, but I think he's trying to learn and find the we've spots, right? So he can find the fixes for them and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
And we've seen plenty of stupid people doing crazy stuff with these already, right? I'm seeing them daily, like people jumping them. It's like,
these aren't Raptors, man. They're not TRXs.
You're asking for trouble.
Well, yeah, right? You expect something to break if you're jumping anything. Scott, good question. Where will we break it in? Probably with you, and maybe before Moab.
Yeah, we're planning a Moab trip for June, but
I'll be out there in June.
Are you?
Are you?
Yeah. We're maybe the third week of June, something like that. So because we're trying to because one of my buddies, his wife is a teacher, and we're trying to, and they're in the Iowa area, so we're trying to make it all work out.
Awesome.
We're shooting for the 8th to we'll be home by the 18th. So we may be just kind of missing you, maybe somewhere in there. Well,
we'll wave as we drive by each other.
Yeah, right.
Going through more horrible Kansas.
Oh yeah, right.
God, there's no worse drive.
Georgia.
I'm sorry, Kansas. There's just no worse drive. Nebraska's
pretty bad though.
Well, I've always been told if you go northern to the Nebraska, it's better. So really? I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is we left Nashville at noon and we were headed to Denver, and we got to Denver at 7 a.m. right after work, just hauled ass out there.
Nice.
And I remember being so tired and bored going through Kansas that you start seeing the windmills, but it was dark. You couldn't see them, but you'd see those lights just start strobing across the sky.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell? Are you seeing it? Like, you're like, how tired am I?
Right. Right.
That's how we felt when we were traveling back from San Fran to Chicago. And we did that 30-hour drive in 33 hours. And we were driving through what we didn't realize was Utah.
Oh, Utah.
Yeah. We felt the same as you. Like, are we hallucinating? Because we were driving and I've never seen a salt flat or any salt, nothing besides salt in Chicago on the streets.
Right.
And we're driving and it's just, as far as the eye can see, is white. And then the areas that were wet look like ice. But then I look at the temp in the car and it's still 100 degrees outside. So I'm just like, what is going on? So I know that feeling. Where I'm like, James, where are we? Like, where are we at? Is this possible?
So you guys are taking the Bronco though?
We're not sure.
We're not sure.
I guess, yeah.
We're gonna take 2.
Yeah.
If I was to guess right now, it would be the Bronco and the Gladiator. But mates that I always neglect Mojito.
I feel no eyes in the corner.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as lifts and wheels and tires between now and then.
What do you think? Do you think we'll go to the dunes first, though? Probably.
We'll definitely make it to the dunes this spring, and just probably a Badlands trip here pretty quick as soon as we can. So,
well, I've got to get to the dunes. I keep hearing how awesome it is there.
Oh, fun!
It's just
really
such a it's. You were asking earlier, it's just such a chill weekend. I feel like when you go to the trails, it's like, I don't know. It's at least for us, we're always like, you got to hurry up and get out there early because you want to get as many trails in, and it's a little more tense because you're climbing things and you're whatever.
Smashing things.
Yeah, and whereas the dunes, it's just like you pack your cooler, you head out to the dunes. You can climb the dunes, you can play it, and then you go park along Lake Michigan, and go out in the lake and put your suit on and whatever.
I feel like it's like biking with your friends when you were a kid and you're out all on your bikes cruising. Yeah. And on the dunes, you're all out in your Jeeps and your off-roading vehicles, just cruising the dunes, hanging out, like you're saying, by the beach. You could have your suit on and, and I don't know.
It's just such a much more chill, Silver Lake in Michigan. Yep.
Yes.
Just such a chill weekend,
Yeah, I definitely, because my wife's from Michigan, so we go up there every so often, and I'm itching because I want to explore the upper too. I want to see all the fun up there. So one last question. I know you guys are probably getting tired. So you guys came across my channel when the Bronco the hype was real. The release video, and we start seeing them doing the Rubicon and all this stuff. And suddenly, speaking of the dunes, you guys were out there playing in the dunes, and you were the channel that got to see these things in the wild, man. How was that?
It was crazy. Legit, we had gone back to there's a parking lot area at the dunes, where there's bathrooms and stuff. So we made a pit stop there. Everybody was hitting the bathroom, and literally I was standing out by the Jeeps waiting for her to come out. And I saw an orange blur go by, and I was that was a new Bronco, a cyber orange Bronco. And I was I was freaking out.
Yeah. And, like a celebrity, except I would never act like that.
And I was literally trying to round up our whole crew. Exciting. We got to go. Let's go now. And our friend Scott, who's been on tonight, he busted out his drone, locked it in on the Bronco, and was following it over the dunes. And we were chasing it around.
I mean, that's like you said earlier. Earlier I wanted to say this when you were talking about how it's a faster paced experience off-roading on the dunes. It certainly is, because I was just gunning for that Bronco. I'm we've got to get pictures with this. We have to have Mo side by side.
Yeah.
It was
it didn't seem like when I watched that video, which is funny because I was telling James last night, it didn't dawn on me for the longest time that you guys were the ones that did that. And I was going back through your channel going, oh, I remember that video. Oh, damn, that was them.
We lucked out. We really
didn't seem like a
Bronco weekend. Did we do that?
Yeah,
but it didn't seem like a lot of people were very interested. Were there a lot of people interested in that?
Considering it was Bronco weekend and there was a lot of Broncos there. Like there was a couple others following it, but like none like us. Like we legit like had our whole crew like locked in, like trying to chase it down and
we
get
were
like
playing tag
shots, and it was being flanked by like 2 tremors that were kind of like, I don't know, I'm guessing like it's pit crew or something in case it got stuck or something. But
I mean, my friend Gina's in passenger and she was watching so that I wouldn't hit anyone. I mean, we were serious.
Oh yeah. But that's, for one, it's just great for the channel, you know. That's probably.
I mean, it was like such a rush just trying to catch up to it.
Oh yeah, man, and I assume they were friendly when y'all kind of came up.
They
to
were,
them
but they were very, because I asked them, I'm like, could we just get a quick pic? And because I'm always like, well, they could always say no, and they're like fast, and I'm like, oh.
Wait, I've got this whole outfit change. Wait, just wait.
My friend Gina's like, I didn't want to be in it. I go, I had no time. Hi.
Well, look who popped in here.
Oh, is that Kelly?
Let's see here. She couldn't. We got the new software, and I've been bugging her. I was like, "Hey, you have to come see the new software for a minute."
how you feeling? Oh,
now she can hear you.
How you feeling?
Hey, feeling like a mouse hit me.
We're sorry to hear that you're not feeling.
Sorry, I'm missing this with you guys, and looks like you guys are having fun.
Yeah,
We are, but we're missing you.
I appreciate it.
We're trying to virtually spread COVID this way.
yeah, right.
Well, didn't we jokingly say somebody? Johnny's car care the other day.
Oh yeah,
we got the Canadian.
I did an interview with a guy from Canada, and I was joking with Kelly. I was like, "Yeah, I probably got COVID that way."
Yeah, right.
Just through the
It would be the
interview.
Canadian COVID too.
Canadian
so it's
COVID.
like
Well, it's a nicer COVID.
it's nicer to you.
It's a little more friendly.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, and they're all telling you to feel better there.
I know. I appreciate it. I think it was omnipotent. Elon said I needed to come and tell you off, and then go back to bed.
Right.
But I'll be nice.
Well, hey, Honest's medicine's always over there if you need it.
We
had a viewer.
I don't need to put that on top of this right now.
No, we have viewers that always are sending us this stuff, and it's like, I'm like, always thank you so much. Which we got to get to the PO box. Somebody was saying something. It's tax-free COVID, right? Well,
No,
so Kelly, I'm not going to keep you on here because you look horrible.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Well, no, I don't mean that. My love for you doesn't mean
It's
that.
okay. Literally, it's no offense because I probably look as bad as I feel. So,
so when we're heading to the dunes, I'm gonna hit you guys up because
Sure.
I've never done that kind of off-roading, and it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, my extent of the dunes was like when we were kids, and my parents would be like, "We have to go to the dunes," and it's like, to your point, you were talking about like the bathing suit and all of that. You would literally like climb up the dunes, feel like you're dying as you're climbing up the dunes, and then go play a little bit, and then okay, it's time to get back in the truck and let's go.
Right.
Really?
It's a lot more fun when you don't have to physically climb them. You can drive up to the top.
Yeah, I have a little PTSD from climbing those dunes.
Have you been to Silver Lake specifically? I'm assuming.
Sleeping Bear, I believe,
Okay.
is what we actually did as kids. I don't know that I've been to Silver Lake. Maybe my mom would probably say, "Yes, you've been there."
She'd pull out the hand and she'd be like, "Yeah, you know."
Or she'd pull out. Well, yeah, she might go, "Yeah, it's right here," or whatever. But she'd also pull out the photo album.
Right. As a kid, the dunes are the dunes, right? It's just a big sand pile, right?
Well, I feel like too, being from Illinois, we have close dunes that are like an hour or so away, and they're nothing compared to Silver Lake. Like I feel like I'm in the Serengeti or something. I'm just where I don't even know if the Serengeti,
because the Badlands has a little bit of dunes, right?
There is, but it's more like a rocky sand, whereas the Silver Lake sand dunes, I mean, it's
plush. It's just fluffy, right?
It's the like finest, like nicest sand.
And you're driving alongside Lake Michigan, and it's stunning. I mean, that being our first place we off-roaded was just the most picturesque thing of life. It was the gloomiest, rainiest day, and it didn't matter. It was amazing.
Well, you probably didn't go in the water then because you didn't want to freeze.
Well,
It was
we don't really ever go in Lake Michigan water.
Yeah.
Cool. But
that's the thing is people that have never been in Lake Michigan or any of the Great Lakes, they don't realize that nothing is warm. Like you would think being a lake that they would be warm, but they're just so massive that they don't ever get the chance to get warm.
My hot tub half the time's not warm enough, so I'm not getting in that water.
Wow, then you're not.
Yeah, it could be 95 and sunny out, and the Lake Michigan water is not good.
Yeah, it's still like 65.
Well, there's nothing like jumping. So we have a lot of natural lakes. We're not natural, but man-made lakes here. And there's nothing like being on your boat and jumping off out in there. And it's that first, like that much, you're like, oh, that's warm. And you go down further and you're like, holy shit, this is no, I'm getting back up. I got to get out of this.
Yeah. Well, there's not even that top foot of Lake Michigan that gets warm.
Really?
Because you've actually got like waves that come in because it is such a big lake. You have waves that pull in. So it's not even like warm like the Gulf is.
Yeah,
like the Gulf gets warm. The lakes don't get warm.
Like
they just kind of laugh at you.
I don't even think the sand is warm.
I don't think so either.
Not where it's crashing, not where the waves are crashing. The other sand baking in the sun is warm.
Yeah, exactly. That's about the only thing. You burn your feet walking on that part, but
just more reasons for me to hate Michigan.
I hate it.
Well,
only because you're hoping for a Bengals win this week.
Well, I'm a Buckeyes fan. All right, guys.
You are a Buckeyes fan, yes.
So you guys did 2 hours with us. I'm so grateful for your time. We definitely got to have you when Kelly feeling a little better. Definitely have you guys back on. And James, I know I'd hit you up. You should come down for Bronco Sell East, man. I'm telling you, it's even if it's just for a day. I'm telling like Pigeon. I don't know if you've been to Pigeon Forge. I'm assuming
we were there on Christmas last year.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's a fun little town to hang out with anyways, but
we like it a lot for sure.
I think they would love your Bronco, even if it's in the parking lot. You'd have a crowd around that thing.
Yeah, I think so. I know I caught the beginning of it where you guys were like talking like I think of yours and it's awesome. I think of it as like a highlighter, like that orange highlighter.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's super cool.
Thank you for calling it orange.
Oh, yeah, because I've been calling it red.
I know. I heard the beginning of it, and I was like, "How your favorite color is orange, whether you admit it ever or not."
No, yet, I had to literally. I was talking to James yesterday. And I had to ask him. It's like, what color is it?
Yeah,
you're like, no, not again.
Totally orange. I've seen it's been orange and everything that I've seen.
Their awesome lighting helps too.
Well, that too.
Like Scott said earlier, it actually brings out the real color with the lighting. So. But so do they do events there, or is it
so? I think they do some trail riding and stuff. So they have vendor displays, a bunch of that stuff. I know Bronco Nation last year had a big ride and drive, like they took people out before you could actually drive the Broncos.
Right.
And I think it's just like a great place to. I think there'll be some aftermarket companies there, you know, showing some cool new stuff. And
have you heard any rumblings of Ford bringing the vehicles back for trail riding? Or
I have not heard what Ford's doing. I know Bronco Nation is doing a big thing in Johnson Valley for King of Hammers. So I imagine I'll try to hit up David about that and see. I mean, Bronco Nation is their PR arm. So I imagine they're going to continue to do a bunch of stuff.
But they're separate.
Well, of course. They are.
Sure.
Of course they are.
Just being PC.
Yeah, right.
It's always fun. Every time I see the head of Bronco Nation, I'm always like, yeah, you are separate, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah.
And he just wants to punch you, but he can't.
Well, you know, it's all in good fun.
Yeah. So there is, I was actually looking over the schedule the other day. There is organized trail rides. There's some of them, like they're actually taking some folks, if they sign up and want to go, they're actually going all the way up to Windrock, which is our favorite park on the East Coast.
Have y'all been to Windrock?
So we tried last year.
When we went down to Orlando, we came back up, and our goal was to hit Windrock on Christmas Eve.
And you know, cool. That snow you don't get,
they got it.
It. And I was excited because we got no snow in Chicago last winter, and we just happened to be out there with a white Christmas. But we'd never been to Windrock. Yeah,
it was us, and it was Christmas Eve. I'm like, there's probably not gonna be a lot of people out there. Yeah. We don't know what we're doing, where we're going.
And
if we get stuck in the snow, I'm like, let's not risk it. So we just stayed in Pigeon Forge on Christmas Eve. So we want to get out there. Actually, if you are planning to go,
just let us know when you want to go, man. We're always down.
Yeah, we're like 2 hours away.
I'm hoping to get ours wrapped. That's the only thing holding us back from taking ours, really going and doing some fun off-roading, is I don't want the paint scratched up just yet. And I know I'm going to wrap it. So it's like that catch-22 of, do you just wait? I had to wait for, just like you guys, 18 months or whatever to buy this damn
Well,
thing.
especially being an only year color. That's the thing that gets me is like,
you got the rapid red.
yeah, we got the rapid red. So being the only year color, it's tough to like say, sure, let's go ahead and take it out and bang it up. And
right.
Yeah. I mean, the body shop will fix it.
And that's I wanted to hit Badlands right away when we got it. Like, let's take the Wrangler, we'll go hit it. But then I'm thinking, then I got to clean every nook and cranny before we wrap it. So, you don't want any of that stuff underneath the wrap. So,
yeah. Well, Miss Trendsetter over here, we went to an overland event and she had to go run it through the mud and stuff already. So,
what did I do?
You run it through all the. It was raining like crazy here in Nashville.
I love going through the mud.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You had to
right
put
now.
it in 4. They wanted you to put it when we went to the Nashville Overland thing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you lost me. You could have just said when we went to the brewery.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys ever coming down? Just let us know, man. We're only what 150.
Yeah, we're like 2.5 hours away.
Yeah,
we can make it work for a weekend.
Anything
for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And that place is crazy though. If we get a lot of weather, trail maintenance is a nightmare. Like there's places you can go and if you just want to kind of see the park, there's a lot of places to do that. But some of the trails that we like, and they're not hardcore, but they can be like real quick.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen that with Badlands too. You get rain and it's.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm in a lot of groups. I'm actually in more groups or different groups than he is on some things because I'm in a lot of Bronco ladies groups because I'm a big advocate for women that have never wheeled before, getting out there and doing their thing. And we get a lot of comments on like, I don't really know. I don't know if I wheel this thing, whatever I'm gonna do. And I was like, number one rule, don't wheel by yourself.
Right.
Like I don't care how tenured you are, how experienced you are, don't wheel by yourself. And 2, tread lightly. Like those are your 2 things that I tell people.
Not remove.
Test mud. Yeah, that's true. But
well, guys, so let's end this thing. I appreciate y'all's time. Let's do this again down the road, especially once y'all get some time with this thing. I'm curious what y'all's reactions are with it. I'm sure you'll do some A and B stuff with the Wrangler and stuff. And I'm coming for the dunes. We're going to the dunes. I'm super interested in that. So, guys, whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, it does not matter what you drive. This has been your All-Terrain Nation. We've been talking to Shocker Racing, and finally Kelly showed up here on the channel.
Just slacking.
And we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.
Bye,
See y'all next week.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to meet you guys.